So, for a long time, Umamusume was one of those fandoms that I was barely on the fringe of. I have friends who play it, one of my favorite artists plays it, and occasionally I saw posts about it, but generally my knowledge of it was very limited aside from like the basic premise. In fact, the only character I knew by name for a while was Goldship. I'm not entirely sure what finally pushed me, but at a point I was like, what if I tried it out just to see what's up? Because ADHD logic dictates that media that's been high on my interest list for years, if not months, if not years, will continue to be untouched, while the stuff I decided to try out just seconds ago will be done immediately. Anyways, I downloaded the game on March 2nd, which I later found out was the exact date that the first anniversary celebration started, which is really funny. And guys, I don't know, I might be enjoying this game a lot more than I thought I would. If you're like past me and somehow don't know much about this game, I'll happily explain it to you just so I can have an excuse to yap. Basically, Umamusume, which quite literally means horse girl, it's the most exactly what it says on the tin game of all time, is a multimedia sports/idol franchise where, like I implied earlier, the playable characters are all schoolgirls whose names, stories, personalities, etc. are based on real-life racehorses. There's anime, manga, and even a stage show in this franchise, but the game is what I'm most familiar with right now, so that's what we're pivoting to here. It's a roguelite gacha where you play as a new trainer working at a school for Umas called Tracing Academy. The main gameplay loop is career runs where you pick an Uma to train in different scenarios to improve her stats, compete in important races, and try to achieve every goal in the list, while also playing through visual novel interludes that tell you more about your trainee and the other characters. There's a lot more to it, of course, but I don't want this video to be an hour long, so it's really fun, trust me. I have to confess though, I did not catch on to the whole each career run is a fresh start thing at first, so throwback to when I panicked to my friend thinking I accidentally erased all my progress with Harurara. Anyways, after playing through the tutorial and waiting 2 hours for the rest of the game to download, I was ready to fully take it on. I went in with an open but casual mindset thinking, yeah, I'm sure I'll have fun here, but I don't know if I'll keep playing long term. So I was just kind of doing whatever and getting rewarded for it somehow. On my second career attempt, I achieved all the goals and ended with a B rank, which my friend said was an impressive thing to achieve so early with a medium runner. And I got my first A rank just a week later, which apparently takes longer for most people, so I don't know, gang, maybe I should quit my gig as a YouTuber and take up horse training instead. Also, I can confirm beginner's luck very much exists with this game's gacha, because I was getting 3 stars with such ease that I was really confused to find that the drop rate is supposed to be 3%. I really wish I put that luck to better use. So a tip for anyone who decides to play this game because of my video: pulling the characters you like is all well and good, but do not underestimate the importance of support cards. Those stupid things can really make or break your builds. Shortly after I started playing, there was a rerun banner for one of the best cards in the game, Fine Motion Wits. With all the pulls and luck I still had, I definitely could have gotten it and maybe even maxed it out, but instead, I spent most of my pulls on the character banner because my greedy ass wanted to see how many other 3 stars I could get, which is how I ended up pulling Admire Vega 4 times. I love that girl, but I really didn't need all that. And the crazy thing is that I did pull on that support card banner. I have the Kawakami Princess card that ran alongside it at 1 level break, so if I'd locked in just a little bit more, I could have had it all. But oh well, that's what I get for thinking I wouldn't have any regrets if I'm only pulling for fun and not for long-term investments. At least now I know not to make the same mistake twice, so right now I'm trying to save for really good support cards coming out in July. Emphasis on trying, because I've been led astray a few times and likely will be again. So if any kind souls would like to fund my new lifestyle and help me get my support cards to max level break, just know that my Patreon, shop, and Ko-fi are all linked in the description below. This is a joke, of course. I put your money to way better use than that, but I gotta promote myself somehow. And of course, liking and subscribing also helps a ton, so you can do that instead if you wish. Okay, moving on. I said earlier that I'm not sure of the exact thing that got me to start playing the game, but if there's one thing that makes me keep playing, it's the characters and all the game elements that are specifically designed to keep you addicted, but that's besides the point. So far, I can't name a single Uma that I dislike because every single one of them is just so charming to me. I love the Machikanes, the girls in the speed pay for their adorable designs. I love Seiyun Sky for her carefree personality. I love Sakura Bakshino for how unreasonably funny she is. I love a lot of them so much that I had a really hard time choosing a favorite. So my favorite chose me instead. It's just Very unfortunate that this favorite turned out to be one of those characters that are so popular that it backfires into a lot of people hating her and calling her overrated and assuming all her fans are just posers with bad taste. Because God forbid you think the cool awesome horse is cool and awesome, apparently. Screw all that though, it's my video, and if I want to be the billionth person to glaze her, then I will happily do so. Let's talk about Agnes Tachyon. You know that meme of someone casually being like, this character is cool, and then a day or so later it's turned into a full-blown hyperfixation? Yeah, that's exactly what happened here. I saw Tachyon for the first time in the race we watched at the beginning with Tazuna and thought, oh, she's cute with her big stupid sleeves and cozy outfit and dull, lifeless eyes. I'll look into her later. Except I didn't know her name, so my way of learning it was by randomly clicking through the Umamusume wiki until I found the page with her picture on it. Later on, I did her career run and read through her story, and my conclusion? There is something deeply wrong with her, and I f***ed that. I have a lot of reasons for loving Tachyon, from her hilariously unhinged behavior to the fact that she reminds me of one of my favorite OCs. Can't say which one though, because that's technically a spoiler. But my favorite thing about her has to be her writing. A mad scientist named after a hypothetical particle that's faster than light, an incredibly fast runner who wants to reach the peak of her potential but struggles because her own body can't handle how fast she is, a girl who wants to use her science to help others reach their peak too, because if she can't do it, then maybe they can. Someone cooked here. I still really want to watch Beginning of a New Era so I can understand her even more, but the whole physical limitations thing is something I find painfully relatable. I'm not an athlete, like very much not an athlete, but I am an artist. I have so much I want to draw and so many stories to tell and goals to achieve, but there's only so much I can do before I either injure myself from drawing too much or get held back by executive dysfunction. In fact, I was injured around the time that my interest in Umamusume reached its peak, so I couldn't even draw Tachyon for a while because I was still recovering from back and shoulder pain. I made an attempt anyways, but I couldn't get very far before I had to go lie down again. As of the time of recording this, I've long recovered from that injury, thankfully, but shortly after I did so, my motivation was in the pits, which really sucked because I was doing so well. I was on one of the best drawing streaks I've had in years, but suddenly I couldn't bring myself to work on anything anymore, which in turn made me super restless because even though I know I don't have to draw all the time, art is so important to me that I constantly feel like any free time I don't spend on it is a complete waste. Not to mention the envy I tend to feel when I see other people achieve certain art milestones that I desperately want for myself, but sometimes worry I won't ever be able to reach. So honestly, it's kind of poetic that I got into Umamusume at this time and latched onto Tachyon before I even realized that we had all this in common. Like many other characters in this game, she's been a big source of joy and inspiration for me, and I love her very much for it. Also, full disclosure, I don't care that she only has 4 wins to her name, and I really don't care for this agenda posting bullshit y'all keep doing. The fact that the real-life Agnes Tachyon had so much talent and a bright career ahead of him but had it cut short by an unforeseen injury makes me feel really bad for him. And I hate that so many people overlook that just because they want to dunk on the Uma variants for being a fraud or whatever. Y'all just annoying, man. I don't even know what to say anymore. In summary, I think Tachyon's really cool. I have a lot of respect for her in the real-life horse, and this segment has gone on long enough, so I'm moving on. Now that I've rambled about my absolute fave, I need to switch it around and rant about my biggest awe, the bane of my existence, the absolute worst thing to happen to me, Kita-san Black. This is a joke, by the way. Kisa's design is one of my favorites in the game, and I really like her as a character. But as a trainee, she is the most uncooperative little I have ever worked with, and I say this as a gold ship survivor. I've done her career run several times now, and almost half of those runs went so comically bad that I just gave up entirely, including my very first time training her. Oh, you want to build her for team trials? Too bad. Want to build her for champions meeting? Tough shit. Just want to train her for fun? Here's her mood down event 50 turns in a row. Have fun. And don't even get me started on her fraudulent support card. In Umamusume Pretty Derby, if you say you want 3 skill hints for Professor of Curvature instead of just 1, they beat you with hammers. Also, without level break 3 and above, she basically shows up for every training except the one she's supposed to. There was a time during summer camp when she was on guts training, because of course she was, so I used a whistle to try and get her to move to speed, and she just left training altogether! Bro! Yeah, I need to spin back to talking about the gameplay again, because another thing y'all gotta know about this game is that as fun as it is, it'll also test your patience like there is no tomorrow. When training your Umas, there's a % chance of failure that gets higher the more your energy decreases. You might see a 30% chance and think, that's not that high, I can hit this. No, you cannot! The number of times I've watched my trainees fail at as low a chance as 3% makes me want to chew on drywall, and that is far from the only place where RNG can screw you over. In Umamusume Pretty Derby, if you say you want your veteran Uma to have a 3-star spark in stamina or power, they beat you with hammers and slap you with a 1-star spark for guts, aka the least useful stat in the game. For the Genshiners in the audience, I consider it the equivalent of death percent. Also, as you might expect of a game where the whole point is horse girls racing against other horse girls, there's a lot of PvP, such as team trials where your team can race against other ones in similar ranks. Put a pin in that. There's also the Champions meeting, which is a lot more prestigious. My first CM was the 11th one, aka the Pisces Cup, and I went in with the assumption that it would be similar to team trials where you're matched against players whose Umas are a similar rank as yours and rise up to the top. This was not the case! Turns out that unless your Umas are the absolute best of the best, cream of the crop, etc., most of the braces are just humiliation rituals where you get matched up against players who are leagues ahead of you. CM11 was a disaster for me because at the time, all my best Umas were rank A and A+, which put me in a weird spot where I was too good for the open league where the maximum rank is B, but definitely not good enough for the graded league where I was getting curb stomps left and right. But on the bright side, 2 wins out of 60 races is still better than 0 wins, and CM12 actually went a lot better for me. I mean, I did still get my ass whooped by players with an SS plus Christmas Ogre who still had the nerve to bring 2 debuffers, but 7 overall wins? I'll take that. Here's to hoping that CM13 can also be an improvement for me, assuming I have this video out by then, because what do you mean, it's in 2 weeks! Again, there is a lot more I could say about this game, but I think I've said more than enough for now. I'm thinking of making a separate channel for gaming, mainly as an excuse to ramble even more about Umamusume while I play it, but only God knows if I'll actually go through with it. Anyways, despite all my complaints, I still really recommend this game to y'all if you don't already play it. Whether you like the visual novel aspects, or you're in it for the competitions, or you just want to watch cute girls sing cute songs, there's a lot of enjoyment to get out of it. Just keep a fair distance from the fandom. A lot of the people here really f***ing suck. Shout out to my incredible patrons, Isaac, Rose, Jay, and Mara. If you'd like to get a shout out in all my videos just like this, here's a reminder that you can join the cadets tier of my Patreon to also gain early access to art, videos, and comic pages. Or simply join for free to get sketches, previews, and progress reports. My Patreon is linked in the description below alongside my shop where I sell keychains, stickers, and more, my VGen where I sell adoptables and occasionally take commissions, and all my socials that you can simply follow me on. Thank you guys so much again for all your support, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.